everybody, Invisiblekatana here. And unfortunately, another bomb has been dropped on us. We had Valve coming in with crazy prices. We had Rockstar coming in with crazy prices and no physical edition. And now we have Microsoft, the third or fourth time, I don't know. At this point, all the consoles have been just going up in price so many separate times. It's insane. And I don't know what to even think right now. Like at this point, this is because of the price hikes. But there's been like 18 bad stories for Xbox over the last couple weeks, where it's like, okay, so let's just talk about everything. Like, I don't know what I'm titling this, but at this point, it's just, what is Xbox right now? Because everything was an Xbox, and it was like, hey, that's not working. People didn't like that, which that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I'm like, that's just me personally. They already didn't have anything anyway as far as exclusive. So then it was like, well, what's the problem? Like, as far as I've always looked at it, personal opinion, of course, I don't get into console wars because I'm not an idiot. So exclusives are good for the console, not for the gamer, because it's irrelevant if you can just play the game. Like, you can't give me an intelligent argument to be like, well, it should be exclusive for what? For like the company to get more money and only them? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Not to mention, that doesn't really work more often than not. Like, if everything was just everywhere, they'd make more money. That's a fact. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, sure, they'd get some money off of some consoles. There are console sellers. That's the way it is. Like, there are games that are system sellers. GTA is coming up. It's going to be a system seller. People already bought the PS5 Pro. Nobody, I haven't heard a single person say Xbox, by the way, but people already bought like the PS5 Pro for GTA. Like, there are system sellers. I totally understand that. There always have been. That's just the way it is. But when you're already filling, you definitely don't need to go backwards. It's not like they were doing exclusives and it wasn't working. Everything was everywhere. They just had nothing coming out. And then a couple of weeks ago, we're just getting over Summer Games Fest, and it's like, hey, Gears is exclusive. Okay, I'm not gonna hate on that. I don't really care. The Steamwork game, that was unfortunate because I thought that was pretty cool, but admittedly, I wouldn't have got that anyway, just because it was like, this is one of those games that has a million options and stories. I was like, I got, the backlog is too long to be adding something on there. So at this point, it's like Xbox feels like it's price hikes and Fallout 76 updates. Like that's how it feels. And now it's like, oh, so you guys were going back to exclusives because you listened to people online, which is a horrible idea. I mean, I said this in the Rockstar video, but Twitter versus intelligence, like they don't tend to meld together. So they were listening to people online, and it's like, all right, you guys want exclusives? Like, I wouldn't listen to those people. Like, that's a horrible decision, my personal opinion. And then they do that while also killing off a bunch of companies. Compulsion Games, shout out to them. This is an old school thing. I think this was literally their first game. Contrast. I did a video on that like almost a decade ago at this point. I love that game. It's just simple. It's a puzzle game. Has one of the greatest intro songs ever. Like, just the opening menu song is genuinely one of my favorite songs I've ever heard in a video game. I have it on my phone to this day. I love that song. Great game too. And they're closed down. Hopefully they can go independent or someone else picks them up. Seems, fairly unlikely. Ninja Theory, they're dead. Like, hey, you guys want to announce the third game in the franchise? Absolutely. Okay. What was it, like 2 or 3 days later? And then it was like, yeah, they're gone. I was like, what? You just did a press conference where that was like a whole thing. Like, that's crazy to me. I assume that would have been exclusive, but then they were like, we'll just shut the whole thing down. Like, who cares? Who cares if we literally just announced it? You're gone. So Compulsion Games is out. Ninja Theory is out. Hopefully, once again, everybody can go independent. Everyone's, of course, concerned about Double Fine. I love Double Fine. Of course, like most people, shout out Brutal Legend. I always wish we got a sequel to that. I know it's not going to happen, but I love that game. And Double Fine's amazing in general. Definitely always been one of my favorite developers, just because they, their whole concept was just being like, hey, let's basically just be like, let's just make something artsy. Let's create art. That's always kind of been their thing. That's why I like them. Like, them and Remedy, I feel like, are kind of in the same vein, where they'll just do like out there stuff where it's like, this might not get 100 million people, but it'll definitely be one of those games where it's like, it's gonna get some awards. It's gonna be like a cult classic. Psychonauts, over time eventually ended up getting a sequel. So you have these companies where it's like, we're worried for them. Hopefully they can do something, and then we're stuck with a couple exclusives. How long is that gonna last? How long is that really gonna work? They got Bethesda, so we're waiting for something outside of Fallout 76. And, of course, I forgot Activision. So naturally, they got like the quadrillion dollars from Call of Duty, despite the fact that they don't use like a single penny apparently to, put that towards any other company and keeping them afloat. Because it's like, even though they say they make a quadrillion effing dollars year on year, it's like, we just don't have enough money for these other companies. It's like, that's crazy, because all you do is kill off companies, or if they don't kill them, they do the half measure where it's like, well, we're not gonna erase you, but we will make you like a part of the amalgamation, and you're just gonna, you know, like, you were doing your own thing, and now you're gonna make guns for Call of Duty. Like somebody out there used to make something, and I know they got slapped with like, hey, we're doing a Nicki Minaj skin, that's you now. And it's like, I just know that there's been a couple of sides out there in some sort of Microsoft studio. There's been a few, more than a few sides, I'm sure, where it's like, yeah, we're basically Call of Duty support, and that's rough. And then on top of that, the companies that are just straight up being killed. And now, this is, as of recording, this came out today, the price hikes. Yet another one. $800 for the 1 terabyte physical edition, you know, with the disk drive version of the Xbox Series X. The 2 terabyte is literally just dead and gone. Like, it just poof. Like, we're not even bothering with that because that's going to be too much money. That is insane. $800. I will never get to experience OG Ninja Gaiden 2. It pains me to say that, because it ain't happening. Like, I might have to wait 2 more generations, and who knows? Like, we just gotta wait for these RAM prices to pray that this junk works. Like, man, I already said it with Valve. I was like, you know, we just gotta hope, you know, like, pretty soon, like a year at most, that all this AI crap ends up killing itself, you know, like, it all dies off. But what's gonna happen? Like, a year is a long time. Especially for companies that are like, well, we just need to make money. And we said that we love these guys, and we know that they won awards. It was just like when Hi-Fi Rush came out, and that was before any of this happened, where it was like, Hi-Fi Rush came out, blew everybody's mind. It was like, yeah, we love them. We love Tango Gameworks, and they're gone. Like, it was full on. It was like, instead of it being money, it was companies like the South Park meme. It was like, and it's gone. Like, that's what it's been like. And it's already been that bad in general, like across the board. The industry is really, like, I think I said the exact same thing with the Valve thing. The only good thing right now are just the games themselves coming out, because everyone's on the chopping block is what it feels like. Companies are dying left and right, or, you know, in the case of Microsoft, if they don't totally just, you know, push them all out, they'll just merge them into the giant ocean that is Activision / you know, Call of Duty. So it's just been an insane couple of weeks. And now they're doing a price hike, they're killing off companies, and they're trying to go back to exclusives. There is no way, like, I would be genuinely shocked. Like, this is the type of thing where I would bet money on it. Like, there is no effing way that they stick with the exclusives. And then what's gonna happen? Like, how angry are people gonna be about that? Because, you know, like I said, for me, I think it's all stupid anyway to be like, oh man, I wish it was exclusive. I feel like it's pointless to have this. Like, that never made any sense. It was like, well, if you like this thing, then you should just enjoy the fact that it has, like, all the games. My problem with Xbox was they didn't have anything that made them specific anyway. Like, regardless of whether or not it was, you know, exclusives or anything, I always felt like they kind of didn't have anything for a couple of generations, where I was like, nothing ever really appealed. Like, 360 was just cheaper than PS3 at the time, and then that was it. And obviously, you know, when the Xbox One first came out, it was, you know, there's a whole host of issues with that one. It's like, well, you know, we have a thing and it's called the Xbox 360. So, you know, it's been issues, and they're constantly doing like their, you know, halfway point iterations. And I've said this at some point before, probably when I was talking about one of the other price hikes. The day that Xbox kind of like full on died for me, I think was right before they announced the series, the first version of the series, whatever. Obviously the names start to blend together, but after the Xbox One, when they started to do whatever was after that, because they announced, they were like, hey, this is basically the new thing, and next year we'll talk about the next thing we got coming out. And I was like, you literally just told me that the newest thing comes out next year. I'm not gonna buy this. And then after that, I just never went back, because it was like, well, there's not much of a reason. All the, you know, exclusive games that I really wanted, they were all on PlayStation, and it was like, well, I'll just get the exclusives over here, because you don't have anything when it comes to Xbox. And then the exclusives that they did have were so few and far between, and they also didn't mean much. So that's another thing. Like, for me, even if they had a bunch of exclusives, it was going to be Gears, which doesn't mean anything to me personally. And there's, aside from like an actual Fallout 5, there's really nothing that Bethesda has. Because I don't care about, you know, I was almost about to say Skyrim, but I don't care about Elder Scrolls, like, in any regard. So for me, like, all they have is, yeah, Fallout and Doom. If they made that exclusive, that would have sucked. I was like, dang, that kind of blows. But Also, I have a PC. That's the other thing, where it's like, even if we get hit with exclusives, I'm actually safe, because exclusive for Xbox just means, well, I can just get it on PC anyway. So like, even with the issues I might have had where I was like, dang, I want that exclusive game, just get it on Steam. Like, the last time they had an exclusive that I genuinely was like, man, I wish I had a console for this, was Dead Rising 3. And eventually that came to Steam, and I still never bought it because everybody was saying the Steam version sucks. So I've never played 3, and of course I haven't played 4. But it's crazy right now. Like, I cannot believe it's yet another price hike. And at this point, I'm just kind of wondering, are they gonna do it again? Like, just, is someone else gonna do yet another one? And this same thing with Valve, same thing with Rockstar. They can keep the prices the same. They could do it and they'd be fine. They're Microsoft. Technically, Xbox is a branch off from Microsoft, and that, I think, is a big part of where the problem comes from, because you have companies that are like, Xbox is a subsidiary of Microsoft, and I think Microsoft is really the problem, where obviously they're, going crazy with the AI, and they've always been trying to kind of push some of that into the console stuff anyway. I mean, heck, the Xbox One, that whole thing was like, and you can watch sports and this and that and the other, and it was a lot of like TV stuff and not game stuff. But they've always been trying to do that, and obviously Microsoft is like hardcore into the AI situation as is. And it seems like, the masters at the very, very top, like not the top of Xbox, but the top of Microsoft, are the ones that keep screwing things up, where it's like, hey, you guys have this plan, like the everything's an Xbox, that should have worked. Like, obviously, I think a lot of people were mad about that. I think that was more for the realm of exclusives, and sure, the commercials probably could have been better. I didn't think it was that confusing, but apparently it was to a lot of people. I was kind of surprised by that. Like, anything that has internet can kind of just stream and you can play games on it. I thought that was pretty simple, but that was just me. So there are a lot of people that are like hardcore Xbox, where like they want the exclusives and stuff like that. But then you have that element of, if you listen to them for 2.5 minutes, but you're about to do a price hike, that doesn't make any sense, because there's no way you can tell me, yeah, we're gonna do exclusive now at the last minute. We've been like basically no exclusives at all. Like, our whole thing, we literally brought Halo over. We brought the first Gears over for the Double remake. We just brought that over for everybody to finally play on PlayStation. We got, Forza over here now. And then 2.5 minutes later, it's like, hey, that brand new Gears E-Day exclusive. And it's like, I guarantee you, and I say this because I literally heard a story with somebody, like, I just was watching a video today where somebody said it, where they were like, I literally sold my Xbox and I was excited. Like, I bought the remake of Gears and everything. And I was like, okay, well, everything's like going multi-platform now. Sold off my Xbox because nothing was happening over there. Got a Switch 2. And then it was like, and now we're back to exclusives like 2.5 seconds later. And it's like, you literally just put the first game on here, and then you think people are jumping ship? If this was, and I'll say this, none of this would matter if we weren't talking price hikes. All the stuff with them like closing down studios would still be a huge issue, and I would hate that because of all the people working and like trying to do stuff with the suits at the top just being like, screw it. But they're doing all of this, and they're doing price hikes because of, whatever they want to say, and then of course they'll never change the prices anyway. So we'll see. I'm waiting for the day that any of the big 3, or I guess 4 if you want to count Valve right now, because they threw out the Steam machine. I'm waiting for a moment where something actually happens and this RAM goes down, and then we start seeing computer prices go down, and then all eyes are going to turn straight to every single console that's right there. And it's like, okay, so where do you see these computers are going down, like all these rigs are dropping. Valve might do it because they're basically, it's all computers and they're basically a tiny rig. So they might do it real quick and be like, hey, we're dropping it. Like Valve might actually do it super fast. But I'm so curious, because it's the same thing. The tariffs have already been dealt with. There was a whole thing where like companies literally got millions upon millions of dollars back. Nobody, I don't know if you guys saw like some magical like surcharge refund or anything like that. I know I did, from like the couple of things I bought during the time. So the companies are just doing whatever they want to do, because it's like, oh man, things are rough. We gotta, bump up the prices. Oh man, things are still really rough, so we're gonna bump up the prices again even though we did it again. So it's like the 3rd, maybe 4th time even. But it's really tough on us, guys. It's really hard for us to do this. And also, we're gonna do exclusives, even though that's like the dumbest thing we could do right now. But the people on Twitter said that that's what they wanted. So we should listen to those guys, because obviously the people on Twitter that actually get into console wars like fucking morons are the people to listen to, because they want exclusives to make the Xbox worth it. That'll definitely make you money. That's the trick. That'll do it for sure. So we'll see what happens. I'm very curious. I'm not exactly hopeful. And also, there's no way, like I said, they're gonna stick with this exclusive thing. They just bumped the price up to $800 for the most expensive Xbox. Technically, it was the second most expensive because they killed off the most expensive. They killed one of the versions they were selling. So bumping up prices, they killing off more companies is just, disastrously par for the course at this point. But yet another price hike, dropping companies, going exclusive again. Like, that's the magic play. Like, if anything, them getting rid of exclusivity, I thought was a genius idea. I thought it was actually super cool. I was like, I have a PlayStation, and I'm the person that's like, I want everyone to be able to play everything. I hate the fact that Sony is like, yeah, we're not doing PC ports. That's crazy to me. That's the same dumb idea. Like, that doesn't even make sense. You cannot tell me that you're gonna make more money by not doing that. That's idiotic. Let more people experience the community and experience the games. That's how you make more money. That's how you get more people into it, because you allow them the opportunity. But it's like everybody at the top is just like, well, we need number go up, and it's like they're just not putting the pieces together, because I'm like, there's no way you thought giving the opportunity to less people made more sense. So I don't know why they're listening to people on Twitter, but that's the thing. It seems cool. It's like, yeah, people are being listened to, but it's like, don't listen to the people on Twitter. That's like 2% of the community. I say that, I've probably said this in the last couple of videos, as far as the community is concerned. If you're watching this, you are not a casual gamer. You are not one of the people that saw a commercial on TV or on TikTok or on Twitter or YouTube where it was like, you're kind of on there, and then you got, an ad thrown in your face, and you're like, oh, new game coming out. Or you heard it from a friend that's actually in it. It's like, you're here. You know what's going on. Casual people are like 90% of the community. It's not us. It's not people making videos. It's not people knowing this information. The casual audience is just, game look cool, me buy game. Not to make people sound dumb, but it is literally that simple. It looks cool, I will buy it. You do that everywhere, and then you got more games. That's all there is to it. And then going exclusive, especially at the last minute, like, unless the new console is coming out next month, it's super weird to do that too, because I'm like, you're at the end of the console. Obviously, economic circumstances and all that, that's why this is even dumber to me, because I'm like, sure, if we had 3 price drops instead of price hikes, I wouldn't even be making this video. I'd probably just be talking about the fact that they're, dropping the companies. But if the prices were going down, none of this would matter. All of that would be fine. Them buying up a bunch of companies, them being like, everything's an Xbox and all that stuff. All of that, I guarantee would have worked if it wasn't for like a quadrillion price hikes. And then you want to go back to exclusivity, and it's like, who do you think is about to start buying when you want to go exclusive? Like, I might be crazy. Maybe it's because I'm just involved. But I find it hard to believe that a casual gamer is going to go out, see $800, and just not know that that's like the third price, that it's higher now than it was. I mean, geez, the games, this console, as far as the Xbox, I feel like it's been nearly a decade, but we'll just say the last 4 or 5 years. We'll keep it in line with the PlayStation, the last like 5 or 6 years. There's no way that someone's so invested in Gears of War that they're like, I'm finally gonna buy a console, and then it comes out at $800. Like, even anyone buying the game will just be like, well, I know this isn't new, because it's been the same thing for like the last couple years. Like, even in the casual thing, when it comes to buying the console, you know what the name of the console is, at least if you're getting it. If your parents are doing it or grandparents, we know how that can go. But if you're the one at least being like, hey, at the very least, I'm going to go buy the game and I'm gonna go get the console, you know that it's the same thing, and it's just a much higher price. So I don't know what they're thinking or how they expect this to really pan out in a positive light, but that seems insane to me that they were like, yeah, because there's like, the only option is that they knew they were gonna do this stuff, just like, them killing off a game company like 3 days after letting them announce a brand new game. Either they knew this stuff was happening and they were like, yeah, we're still gonna do exclusives and then do the price hike, or they're just so screwed up right now that they're like, we're going back to exclusives, and then they're like, dang, we gotta do another price hike. Who would have seen that coming? It's like, you guys don't have more going on that you can like kind of mesh things together and realize maybe this should work, maybe this won't work, maybe we can't just go off of internet conversations and we should actually look at what the F is going on? Because There is no way that stays exclusive. Like I said, I would be mind blown. That's like betting on a horse race. I'm like, it's a surefire hit that gem is going back, because that's insane, especially after the price hike. Like, if it was, even with things staying the same, the price already went up a while ago, but it was like, okay, cool. I was even kind of like, all right, okay, Xbox, let's see what you can do. Let's see how this pans out. Like, for me, it has no effect because it's games that I don't even care about. Blade would be one for sure. If Blade ends up coming out exclusive, I'll be like, that really blows. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, PC. So I'll be fine. But when that was the case before yet another price hike, it was like, all right, let's see what they can do. I'm curious how this pans out. I hope it works out. I always want games to just work out and everything be successful because it's my favorite medium. I want it to go well. And then you go exclusive. And like I said, especially the Gears thing, because that's just crazy. Like, you just put the first game out as like the super duper remake. And then it's like, here's like the prequel to the entire franchise that's a really popular franchise. Whether you're, like a huge Xbox fan or not, Gears of War had its time. Like, Gears of War was like the thing for a certain amount of time. So people know Gears of War. It was just one of those games that was just like, it was the world for a hot minute. Gears 1, 2, and 3. That's how it went. And so you got the prequel coming out. We're going exclusive. It's like, okay. Then you hit them with a price hike. Who the F is joining in at the last minute for $800? Even if you're going, I would never in my life recommend the Series S. I know a lot of people are going to do it. I personally just, once again, we're involved. We probably understand the mishaps of being like, well, at the last minute, I'm going to buy the overpriced Series S, which is crazy. Like, at this point, I'm not sure which one, but I know some of them are at this point the same price that the OG price was for like the Series X and S, or for the Series X, I should say. So that's just insane. So who knows when the next console is coming out, how much that's gonna effing cost us. Who knows what they're gonna really do if they actually stick with the exclusive. Beyond anything, that would be the most surprising, because now it's like, well, who the F is joining in? Who's jumping into the community at $800? I know I keep going with the most expensive one. So even with the couple hundred, I was so focused on 800, I forgot what the Series S ended up going up to. So we'll just say, even if it was, we'll be super generous and say it's half and just say it's 400. I know it's more than that, but we'll just be generous and say it's 400. Who's jumping in at the last minute? And then it's like, well, yeah, this is how it's gone. And you've had all these price hikes. There are gonna be people who do jump in and just haven't found out any of the information, but there's no way that them doing these price hikes and then also coupling that with going back to exclusive is gonna make people happy, especially with the Gears thing in particular, where it was like, here's literally the first game redone, and also now we're right back to exclusive. We know we kind of put it right out on PlayStation and did the same thing for Halo now that we have the remake of the first game coming out, but that's it. And we're gonna go straight back to exclusive. So the next Halo, exclusive again, all that good stuff. So we will see what the F happens. But as of now, I just don't see things working out too well for them. But that's just my opinion on it, my thoughts, of course. I would love to know where you guys are at as far as the price hikes, going back to the exclusives. Like I said, for me, the exclusive thing and then the price hike is what really did it, where I was like, well, now they're screwed. It was still kind of meh as far as going back to exclusive. I thought that was weird after all this time, but there was still hope, I guess. But at this point, I just don't know. So you guys let me know. Where's your head at? Are you happy, unhappy? What the F is gonna happen to Xbox right now? So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.